Hey team, welcome to another Bullpen Bulletin with Coach Hart and Building Better Baseball. In today's video, we are talking about the two ways that you can properly interact with first base. One way is if you hit a ground ball in the infield, how to properly beat the ball out and run through first base. And the second way is a ball in the outfield, how to take your turn, and most importantly, how to put pressure on the outfield. So we're gonna go over these two ways to interact with first base today. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about today is how to beat out a single or run through the bag properly, okay? So this one, you just hit a ground ball in the infield and you're trying to just run through first base as hard as you can, all right? And then there's something at the end that you have to do to make sure that you can give yourself an advantage to get to second, okay? So what we're going to do, we just hit the ball, right? The first thing is you do not look at the ball. All right, you hit the ball and all you are doing is running and looking forward and looking at your first base coach. First base coach should be standing about right here. That is all you are looking. You're looking at first base and first base coach. You do not want to look at the ball. Why? Because that will slow you down, all right? Do you run faster with your head facing this way or with your head facing this way? It may not be much of a difference, but you run faster by looking forward, okay? And you want to get down the line as quickly as possible, okay? And the reason that you don't care about what's happening in the field is because your first base coach is your eyes. They are your eyes in the field. They will tell you what to do. They will tell you, okay, shortstop has it, run, 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 beat it out, beat it out, beat it out. So you just hit the ball and you are breaking down the line as quickly as you can, right? So when you hit first base, the way that I like to do it, I always like to hit first base with my left foot, all right? I like to hit it with my left foot. I know that it's kind of harder to do, like choose which foot you do, and it kind of slows you down. So I don't want to slow anybody down, but if you can do it, I would hit it with your left foot, okay? Because when you hit it with your left foot, that brings your other leg through here on this side, and it does not interfere with the first baseman here, okay? If you think about it, if you hit it with your right foot, if you come here and hit it with your right foot, then your left foot has to come through here. And I know it doesn't seem like that much of a big deal, but the first baseman, they could just not be experienced at first base, and they could be stepping on the whole entire bag on the top, all right, instead of like the corner like they're supposed to. So you hit it with your left foot here, and then immediately, as soon as you hit the bag, you want to break down, all right? Break down. And what do I mean? I mean you hit it here, and you do some chop steps, all right? You go here, and you go like that. That is breaking down after a hard single. That is running right through the bag and breaking down. So you come here, left foot, and as soon as you hit the bag, you break down. The reason that you want to break down is because what if something is happening where you can possibly go to second base, okay? There's one place that you should also look as soon as you break down. Do you know where it is? You should look to your right, all right? As soon as you break down here, look to your right. Why are you looking right? To see if there's an overthrow or a pass ball, right? So as soon as you hit it with your left foot here, you break down and look right, all right? If you don't see a ball, then you can turn back here and you can get back on the bag. If you do see a ball, first of all, listen to your first base coach, all right? There could be a backstop. There could be some reason where your first base coach doesn't want you to run, so listen for him. Normally, if there's a pass ball or an overthrow, he will immediately say, go, 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 go. And as soon as you break down, boom, you're right to second base. If you do not break down after that and you're just like kind of casually running through the bag, you won't be prepared for that overthrow, or you won't be prepared for anything else. Another situation is, what if you're safe? What if you're safe and the first baseman catches it and you have a teammate that's rounding second and going to third? What if they throw to third base? That's another situation where you could possibly take advantage of it and go to second base if there's a bad throw over there, right? So when you break down right here and you look right, you're breaking down so you can prepare yourself for a next move. Now, one thing that I want to say about turning back to the bag. Now, if you go here and you break down, always turn to your right. All right, always turn to your right back here like this, okay? Now, the reason we want to do that is because if you break down here and the umpire thinks that you make any move towards second base, you are a live player and you are able to be tagged out. If you make any motion or the umpire thinks that you're trying to go to second, even like a flinch, right? You could be tagged out because you're a live player. Now, if you run through the bag and you turn to your left, that could be misinterpreted by the umpire. Even if you're not trying to go to second, you could give him the option of like misinterpreting it and thinking that you are going to second and then calling you out because someone tagged you. So we want to avoid any misunderstanding whatsoever by turning to the right. If you turn to the right, the umpire there's no way to misinterpret that. You're obviously going back to the bag. So after you break down and the first baseman has it, there's no overthrow, there's nothing happening, turn back to the right and then just walk back to first base here. Those are a couple things about running through the bag and breaking down and everything like that, all right? All right, the second thing we're going to talk about in this video is running a hard single or even running a double. It's basically rounding first base. You hit it out of the infield and there's no possible way that you can get out at first. You're going to round first base, okay? So the first thing that we want to do when we are running towards first base and we're rounding it, we want to take our banana route or like an arcing route or whatever term that you use, you're gonna take your banana route. I've always done banana route. So you're gonna take your banana route. What that looks like is as soon as you leave home plate, you're gonna be running towards first base down the first baseline, okay? About halfway down the line, you're gonna kind of turn your hips and arc out or banana curve your way here just like this, all right? Now, you're not going too far out this way because you also don't want to be so far out of the baseline that you could be called out for being out of the baseline, right? So you just want to kind of turn here and do a little banana curve to first base here. You're coming to first base, You can hit the bag with your right foot, left foot. I don't think it matters too much. I always like to hit it with my right foot because that gives me a good push off towards second base. I think that's a shorter distance. That's how you create a shorter distance to second base, is by basically hitting it with your right foot, and then you're able to immediately step with your left and push off. Whereas if you hit it with your left foot like this, your right foot has to kind of come around your body like this, and that's a little tougher, right? Like I said, I think it's a small thing where it doesn't really matter which foot you hit it with. I always like to teach, or I always like to hit it with my right foot, because as soon as you hit with your right foot, it's easy to turn and push off towards second base, okay? But you're taking your curved route here. As soon as you hit first base, you are acting as if you are going to second, all right? Even if you know it's a single, even if the outfield already has gotten it into the shortstop or the second baseman, you are taking the hardest turn, okay? So you're basically turning the bag here like this, and you're breaking down like that. You want to take a hard turn and act like you're going to second base, because that puts pressure on the defense, all right? It makes them think about you, and that's what you want. That's what aggressive base runners, that's what great base runners do, is they make the defense think about them. If the defense is thinking about you, then that means that they are not thinking about anything else, okay? Look at all the great base runners in the Major League Baseball, right? All of those great base runners, the focus is on them. They are the number one focus of the defense, and that means that they are not thinking about the batter. They're not thinking about the situation. They're only thinking about, hey, this guy, it can get around the bases, and he is normally scoring. All right, that's what a great base runner does. And the way that you can do that on a single is rounding the bag hard and then breaking down like this. All right. What this also does is, like I said, puts pressure on the outfield, puts pressure on the defense. It creates nervousness, all right, and anxiety in the outfield or in the defense, and it causes bobbles and it causes errors, okay? If that center fielder sees somebody round that bag as hard as they could and they act like they're going to second base, that center fielder is like, oh man, I got to get this ball and I got to get it to second base because he's going. If you don't take a hard turn and you just kind of are just lazy about turning and you're just like this, boom, 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 that's not putting any pressure on the defense. And that's like, what if there's an error? What if they do bobble it? You're not even prepared to run to second, right? You want to prepare yourself at any moment to take the next base. Always. That's what great base runners do. They take the next base. They take advantage of little bobbles, of little things that the defense does that are mistakes. They take advantage of mistakes and they get to that next base. All right? And if you're not rounding the bag hard and you're just kind of lazy about it, that's not taking advantage and that's not putting pressure on the defense. All right? That's not making them think about you. So those are a couple things that you can do about taking a hard single and putting pressure on the outfield, right? And those are the two things, taking that curve route and taking a hard turn, hitting it with your right foot, going to second base and taking that hard turn, putting the pressure on the defense, okay? So before we wrap up, I just want to kind of repeat what I said before about great base running. Great base runners make the defense nervous and they give them anxiety because they put pressure on them and they make them think about them. All right? They are always ready to capitalize on the defensive mistakes and always ready to take that next base. That is a great base runner. And I know that you have the potential to be a great base runner. Base running is not all about speed. Being a great base runner does not mean that you have to be fast. And just because you're fast does not mean that you will be a great base runner. Base running is a skill and it's something that you can practice and get better at, okay? So that's my one little thing that I wanted to end this video with. Before we go, grab your free guide down in the description. I have about 10 of them down there. Grab whatever you would like, one, all, whatever you think would be helpful. So I made them for you for free. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Coach Hart. This is Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. So I will see you in another video real soon.